and then we'll.
If there's one thing I know for sure, it's that I know nothing.
Podcast with your hosts, Andy and Ethan.
How's it going? Another week. Another
yeah,
fight
I was telling
card.
somebody. I was like,
What were you telling him? Tell me.
I was like, bro. I was like, you know what I miss? I miss the Budweiser frogs. What's up?
What's up? Yeah, Budweiser went away from the frogs these days, huh? They're
No, they didn't go away from the frogs, bro. Because all you got bro, they didn't go away from the frogs. All you gotta do is lift the neck up and look for the frog right there called the Adam's apple.
Coming in with some heat. Damn. What's up, guys?
Spitting hot fire.
Spitting hot fire. My name is Dylon 5 times. So
Thailand.
I got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is I'm shutting the studio down. Good news is y'all can walk across the Brooklyn Bridge and get me some Cambodian breast milk.
Cambodian breast milk? What the fuck? It was cheesecake. You son of a bitch.
It was Cambodian breast milk and cheesecake, you son of a bitch.
Cambodian. What Cambodian breast? What breast did the milk come out of?
From a Cambodian person. That's what Dave Chappelle, was saying in the skit, but that's you don't remember that part?
I didn't watch much Chappelle Show. I've seen different skits here and there of Chappelle Show, but I never seen like the whole like episodes. I just see the various like skits.
Listen, man, do yourself a favor. Take a break from anime just for a little bit and watch all three. Watch the first 2 seasons, the third season, some of it, whatever. But I loved all 3 of it. All 3 seasons of the Chappelle Show.
Oh yeah,
must watch. Like must watch for like anyone above the age of 18. You know what I mean? Like from now on. I mean, if you're not above the age of 18, I meant more like my never mind what I was trying to say. Anyone around our age who was around that, who's younger around that time when it came out. Because there are a lot of references and shit for that time, I guess, but because I don't know necessarily.
Well, it's one of those shows that you'll
one
never
with the crabs.
That would never exist in 2022. Ever.
No. But the one with the STD, we are the crabs. Like, dude, that's timeless. That's timeless. You can laugh at that forever. But yeah, it's good stuff. Welcome back, guys. Welcome to another week. Thanks for tuning in. For those of you who aren't, catch us on the replay. But thanks for being here live if you are. We got a lot to talk about. UFC 287 and new. We got a fight night. Max Holloway, Arnold motherfucking Allen this weekend. That's a hype fight. That fight's gonna be
a banger.
I hope it's gonna be a banger.
The kids say that's gonna be a humper, but yeah, you never know what UFC.
No. Here's the thing: you don't never know what UFC, but you do know what Mr. Max Holloway. That man is a motherfucking stud. He is a stud and a professional and delivers every fucking time. So I'm very much looking forward to and believe I'm putting all my chips on that fight correctly. So, I'm excited about that. But before we jump into that, and we also got some major news that we didn't get to talk about last week that's going to be affecting the UFC/WWE now to come for the foreseen future. So, but let's jump into 287, start with the main event, right on the main card. Got Alex Pereira, who was the champion, taking on his first title defense against the rematch Israel Adesanya.
Yep.
And my God, did it deliver, dude. The card was good. First off, the card was good. If you haven't seen the card,
solid card.
Go back and watch the card first. But
100%.
The card was fantastic. And the main event definitely delivered. The last couple main events with Izzy, except for the last one with him and Pereira, there was a lot of talk around, some not so much excitement, and there was things that Izzy was doing that, John Jones and GSP started doing when they started, getting the belt and getting that, they started point fighting a lot, you know what I mean? And kind of keeping it, not risking it nearly as much as when he was in the come up. So, even though Izzy's always been a very measured kickboxer, a very measured striker, very technical, very strategic in his.
He is very strategic. He's very cerebral.
Very cerebral. Great. Yeah, exactly.
Cerebral.
Straight out Triple H.
Yes.
Triple H.
Got the reference.
Dude. I mean,
hey, if he wanted to read, Izzy wanted to
cerebral, I think ponytail, jack dude coming out of a shirt.
Spitting water.
Spitting water. Thank you. Yes.
I got
with Motorhead, fucking just.
It's all about the game. It's how you play. Yeah. I never liked the live entrances Triple H did. I never liked many of the live entrances.
That was his. What do you mean? Like his live entrances when he came in?
No. I meant like the live performance of Motorhead. Like it just didn't capture the essence of the song for me. But I'm not a rock person.
None of those live performances.
Yeah, they never do.
Because they're set up for shit. I mean, a live performance is set up to be at a concert with all this sound. The band's got to work around this live production thing. Yeah, I'm sure it's just not an ideal situation for any band or music thing. Any entertainment act probably has a hard time. And then you're in the WWE crowd, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's quiet,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. What WrestleMania was that for? That was for. I remember that.
He had X17, which is the greatest WrestleMania of all time, more or less consensus. And then he had another one. I think it was WrestleMania 22.
It must have been 17 that 17 was what year?
No, 21. It was 21. It was in Hollywood, 2005.
What was 7? Oh, okay. Then that's the one.
He was 2005 and 2001.
Yeah,
you said 2.
Okay, then 2005 is probably the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, dude. Oh, but not the live performances, but when I always liked watching Triple H wrestle, but I just wasn't a fan of his character. You know what I mean? Especially back then.
He was a dirtbag.
Right. Well, but he just was, the way he was written in, he was doing a lot of supporting stuff. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't like the main guy until a little bit later. And then when he started coming out as the Game, and he started coming out to that, like he came out and it was like the black and green, like obviously a little bleed over from the DX days. But it was just like when he came out and did the thing where the whole like the last Emperor walk and, spitting the water. I thought he finally had found like, okay, this is Triple H. Like this is the Game. Like this is the cerebral assassin. Anytime, anywhere in my life, if I hear cerebral, I am thinking about fucking Triple H ending The Rock's career, ending Stone Cold's career, ending all these fucking guys he capped. Not really, but all these guys he fucking took out back in the day. You know what I mean? Like just like with that sledgy dude. Just Triple H walking around with a sledgy, you better run, brother. Your ACL better fucking hit the road. You know what I'm saying, dude? Because he's coming for it. But yeah. But anyway, yeah, Izzy's always very cerebral. Going back to the fight, he's always a very strategic fighter.
Yeah.
He was not in this fight. He was and he wasn't. Izzy
the very first round
in this fight as knowing he had to lose to win. And I fucking loved it, dude. That was the only way he was going to win the fight. And it was the fucking path that he chose. He chose to just walk into the fire. And for some reason, I don't know if it was that first early hit or whatever, but Pereira was not answering.
And it's very odd because
the same way.
If you see Izzy during the press conferences and stuff, like you would think like he's 1000% like so in his head, and that's not a good thing for a fighter. And I had mentioned it in our group chat. I was like, it's very odd and very rare that you see where the opponent who had just lost the title, right? All the pressure is on him. All the pressure is on the challenger to go after to make this work. Sure. And that doesn't happen very often, especially an incumbent, a former incumbent that's coming for the belt again. You don't really see that often, and so for Izzy to have that, just that it looked like he had the weight of the world on his shoulders. And as you said, in the opening rounds, he was very strategic, trying to feel it out, even though, he knows the game. He knows the game. And it felt like he was really trying to bait Alex in. Like you said, he was stepping into the fire. He wanted the smoke.
He was baiting
and
Alex
to your point,
sure.
And to your point of Pereira not being there, like he was there. He was composed. He had his moments in the first round. that, you know, he backed him up. He made Izzy pause. He wasn't really afraid of Izzy per se, but at the same time, like, you could tell that there was a whole different mental approach, and you could tell when the fight started, like, he's like, all right, now, like, it's go time, like, you know, he's like super focused, but at the same time, like, you could tell like that weight shifted away from Izzy, because Izzy's been there, done that. This was Pereira's first time in the game. You know what I mean? Like, you have a chance to really solidify yourself as like one of like the greater like middleweights of all time, knocking out one of the best middleweights of all time twice, potentially, right? Or eking out a really definitive decision if he would have gone that route, because that's a lot of times what Izzy's fights end up being, cerebral decisions in one way or another, most like his way. But in any case, yeah, dude, there was just something like you mentioned that was kind of like, and you know, I think also just due to the hype and the build up to the fight, it kind of led over to at least the fans' perspective. Yeah, I kind of felt myself like I was a tiny bit on edge. I was like, oh, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? You're like kind of waiting on bated breath to see, you know, who's gonna land that definitive shot, and it'd be like, you know, land a couple kicks. You know, there were a lot of leg kicks that were thrown early on, a couple glancing shots. And then, you know, and toward the end of the round, it was a lot of body work, which I thought was going to really contribute to the remaining fight. The more you get to the body, the more you could tire people out. And, you know, Pereira, especially from that perspective, because he went the 5 rounds, but he didn't, you know, like, it wasn't like, you know, there's still questions in regards to his cardio. Izzy's gone 5 rounds multiple times. There was never really an issue with the cardio. But then again, when you're getting hit in the body with bricks, it's going to affect everybody. So,
and Izzy's also been up against Gastelums, and, you know, he's been up against guys who have different set of skills, Costa, and, you know, so
he's seen it all.
He has from the middleweight division so far.
Yeah.
The problem, well, and we'll get to that in a second, the problem's coming for him. But yeah, right, as of right now, you know, Pereira, I said this in the group chat as well, you know, and it's a good breakdown of the fight for sure. You know, Pereira is a kickboxer, so is Izzy. You know what I mean? They're both very advanced, very seasoned, multiple time outside of the organization world championship kickboxers. Both of them highly fucking decorated. One of like in the Hall of Fame of kickboxing, both of them. No problem. Top 10.
Yeah.
And they both are now in MMA, making their marks, making their strides. But both of them are in the very elementary stages when it comes to the other fucking forms of martial arts.
Izzy's way more ahead in terms of some of those other stages, but Pereira especially.
I'm not super convinced of that, because Pereira was able to take him down in the first fight.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, I was kind of banking on Izzy to if the fight had drug on longer, I was banking on Izzy to try and show groundwork and see if he could bring him into those deeper waters on the ground. I would have, if we had
no fucking plans for that. I think he
wanted
to see him knocked out.
Yeah, he wanted to kill him. He wanted to kill him cold. You're right.
I think that honestly, that's why I was saying that mentality that he took into the fight, you could see it from the press conference. You can definitely see it in the walkout. Although it wasn't really confirmed for me until the walkout what that actually was. There was a part of me that was like, man, I don't know. I feel like Izzy's maybe buying into his own hype too much here. Yeah. Also, you got to think about this. Izzy just watched Usman lose in the same fashion, lose his belt. Then after defending many times, then comes back immediate rematch and fucking done. Him and Usman are friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're like, you know, to see that, you're like, damn. All right. So then you're coming in and then you see him doing the dog collar stuff, and it's kind of like, all right, Izzy.
Too much. It's too much.
Like too much. Right. Yeah. It felt like it was too much.
It's too much.
But
like,
it wasn't
100% in his head. But
his focus bleeding over into his media shit. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, I think once you saw how he was in the first round, it's like, okay, he understands is a kill or be killed. And he is going to kill Alex, or he's going to be killed himself. And it was awesome, dude. We were all in our arms and yelling, and just, it was unbelievable. It was
I had my friends over. I bought the fight. We had a tap party. Got my second tattoo.
Nice.
People can't see it. There we go. Kind of, sort of. It's a little tiny little tattoo. Says love.
Tiny guy.
Tiny fella. Yep. It's a tiny little fella.
Says love in
Japanese. Nihongo.
Sure. There you go.
Aito Nihongo desu. Love and Japanese.
Yes.
772 days paying off, motherfuckers.
I'm like, yes, that's right. Correct.
What is it? 772. Nana senju nana. No. Nana sen.
Oh man.
Nana sen nana ni ju des.
Nice. All right. There you go. For all of the Japanese listeners, you guys tell us how bad is Japanese.
Remind me. Actually, pause. Remind me. I'm gonna ask Sean.
Oh, let's pause the episode.
No, not pause the episode. But remind me to ask Sean what our numbers are. I found out our numbers from Talk to Kiki. Do you want to guess where our biggest country is? I meant to tell you this and I forgot. And play.
Where is it at?
India.
Who you?
Yeah, for Talk to Kiki.
Oh, really?
Yeah, our biggest country by far is India.
I bet you they consume a lot of anime there.
Bro, it's India, USA. Here, let me see if I can pull it up really quick.
USA.
Let me see. Fucking cockwanker.
Every time someone says USA, all I can think about is Borat saying USA.
United States is number 1. India, number 2. France, number 3. Germany, number 4. Brazil, 5.
You got the Reichsstand.
The Philippines, 6. And Japan is 7. And there's like a couple other countries that, they kind of make it there. But by far, it's USA and India are like our top listeners. So I'm very curious to see where that is in terms of MMA from ARCs, to see where our consumption is. Most of it is phone downloads.
It's got to be USA, I would think.
I mean, yeah, you would hope.
Well, I mean, I don't really care, but I would think it would be USA.
We love our fans everywhere across the globe here.
Honestly, bro, no. I like it'd be so cool if we blew up in the Philippines. You know what I mean? Like we just blew up in the Philippines.
Why? You want to get
from Marks?
You trying to get free lady boys when you go there? What the fuck are you trying to get? Is that your goal, Andy?
I know that's what your goal is. That's for sure. That's what you're thinking about. That's for sure.
No, sir.
Nah, dude. I'm just thinking like a random, you know what I mean? A smaller country. If they just like for no reason at all, they're just like, dude, MMA from Marks.
MMA from Marks in Guam.
Yeah. Lithuania. We're the number 1 MMA podcast in Lithuania.
Bro.
Unfortunately, they're getting invaded by the Russians next week. So
fuck. There goes our drop.
There goes our demographic.
Son of a
boom, literally. Okay. So moving on.
We're on one today, boy. I tell you
we're on one today. Yeah. We warmed up. This is what happens when we warm up.
Yeah,
you get the gas going. You prime it up. It's good.
Yeah. But put the lube on that bitch.
Put some lube on that bitch. And Izzy put some lube on that bitch too. Because
he put some lube on that fucking right hand.
The end of that fight, after he was done winning and celebrating over Alex and being like, yo, motherfucker. Those of you who don't know, years and years ago, Pereira knocked out Izzy in Brazil in a kickboxing fight.
Yep.
And Alex, first fight. Pereira has like a couple kids. One of his sons who was 5 at the time. He goes up to after Izzy's while Izzy's knocked out, I guess, in the ring. Yeah, goes up and
no, he was up. He was up, and he was kind of still
Was he up? Oh, okay.
He was up. They were waiting for the
ground and body mocked.
The referee had him by the hand. They were waiting for the decision, but you can tell Izzy's still kind of loopy.
Okay, right. So anyway, he basically mocks him, right?
Yeah.
So he's just like, I got you, because if you watch to the end of the fight, you'll see there's a part where Big Dan is talking to the officials.
Yeah.
Telling them what's going on. Izzy is to the left of Big Dan. But Big Dan's so goddamn big, you almost didn't even see Izzy.
Nope.
And all of a sudden, you just see Izzy's body flop to the fucking ground.
You see him point. Hey, you kid. Hey, you
loses consciousness almost, dude. And fucking Big Dan is almost like, what the fuck? Like something's wrong with him,
Cardiac arrest, right?
Yeah, that's what it looked like, And then all of us, because at first it was like, what the fuck is he doing? And then he got up and it was explained after the fact that was Izzy. He found Pereira's son, who's now 12 or 13.
12, yeah.
And found him in the crowd and fucking did that to him. While his son was bawling his fucking eyes out.
I know.
Pereira responded back to the universe.
You saw Pereira responded, right? It's interesting because you see Pereira after the fight, and
I don't care who you are. That's fucking funny, dude.
It's funny. Hey,
he fucking look. Hey, that look. There's all's fair in love and war. Okay,
bro, you're gonna see some John Wick shit now with that kid going after his family.
No. You're gonna see some John Wick Kill Bill shit. It'll be like, when she kills her mom, she's like, if you ever want to kill me, if you ever want to fight me, you know where to find me. You know what I mean? A little girl's like fucking 4.
Bro, I pray to God, Izzy's son and fucking Pereira's son fight in like 25 years or something.
God, that'd be sick, dude. No, I hope Pereira's son fights Izzy in 25 fucking years.
Oh, dude, one of those fucking
knocks his ass out. Just fucking starts just jumping on the fucking ground. Dude, not even 20 years. What are you talking about? He's 13. This shit can happen in like fucking 10 years.
How old is Izzy?
I don't know. He's like 30
Hey,
years
Google,
old or something.
how old is Israel Adesanya?
Yeah.
Israel Adesanya is 33 years old.
Bam. There you go.
So if he becomes like a teen prodigy at 5, that's 38. That's, you know.
Yeah, dude, that's 100% possible. You're telling me Izzy's going to be done fighting by he's 43?
I think, you know, he seems like the type of person to say, fuck it, especially if he manages to continue to clear out the divisions that he's in. I can see him retiring early. Because he seems like the type to want to keep his brain cells. He's not like one of those big Neanderthal fucks that doesn't want
Anderson's still fighting, and Anderson kept his brain cells. If he fights the way he fights, he's not going to lose brain cells like that, dude.
Yeah, you see George St. Pierre, he's got the majority of his faculties, other than
Dominic Cruz, a lot of these guys, now BJ Penn, Chuck Liddell, Matt Hughes.
Oh, no, they're scrambled.
Matt Hughes, a little bit of, different trajectory.
Train track, Junior.
But before the train tracks incident, he was definitely declining. Vanderlei Silva. You look at Chael Sonnen.
Bro, I'm so scared for
Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen is definitely somebody who's been fighting for forever, but because of his style, his wrestling style, he barely took any damage.
I'm so scared for Bigfoot Silva,
like almost the end of his career.
Dude, I'm so scared for Bigfoot Silva.
Oh Lord, that's scary.
Like we're gonna you're gonna see him like Bigfoot Silva lose his mind, fucking machetes 20 people.
Yeah. Whoa, Jesus.
Some shit like that, bro, in Brazil.
Jesus Christ.
Scared
dude.
for that.
Why a machete? Why did you fucking say a machete?
It's Brazil, bro. Dude. And just like that, we went from 3 viewers to no viewers.
Look at all the things you could have said. Jesus Christ. We had 3 listeners. They're fucking gone now. No, I'm just joking. We did have them, but they're gone. It was before you joke.
They'll be back.
They'll be back.
When we start talking about MMA again.
Come back. So basically, I love how they still have the picture of Pereira with the belt, but yeah. Adesanya.
Really? They didn't. I thought they updated the.
It's probably just on the card thing or whatever. But
I'm gonna say no. They updated the rankings, fool.
Dude, if you're a real UFC web designer and you're not moving the belt over to the winner when he wins, like quit. You know what I mean? Like, how much money are you making? Come on.
Clearly not enough to fill a featherweight division.
Dude, this is clearly not enough to fucking actually make a functional website.
Forever a waste of absolute space on this fucking HTML page.
Dude, half this fucking website is this. Half this website is a waste of space. I mean, I'm only on it because they show all the striking stuff and all that better than any other site right now. So, whatevs.
I do want to bring up a point at the end of the show and regarding the champions that we talked about in the podcast that I'm looking at it. But we'll keep going. Let's keep going.
Okay, yeah. But, Adesanya takes the belt and new. He regains the championship.
And I want to say something else also. That the final sequence, that was a really wonderful sequence from Pereira. He was digging the body. He was headhunting. Yeah, he thought he had him on the ropes. He had him on the ropes. And Izzy, you can't say he was in trouble, but it felt like he was rope-a-doping. He
rope-a-doped him, dude.
But he was still
out of my head.
He was still absorbing punches. But he was never really injured. And then he cracked him with that right to the fucking the side of his fucking forehead, stumbled him, caught him again with the uppercut. Fucking put him out, and he caught him again with another hook to the temple as he was falling down. On top of that, his fucking head. I think it basically looked like he was already out, but I think what really put him out is when his head bounced off the canvas like a basketball. Yeah, and then fucking Izzy for one final nail in the coffin with one fucking strong hammer fist to the jaw.
Seal it.
Like Dan calls it. Izzy's fucking dancing and shit. No, and I loved it also. You saw the arrow celebration at first, right? He did So 3 arrows. One thing. What's called when Izzy was walking to the cage? Did you saw Pereira, right? Pereira was doing that as Izzy was walking to the cage.
He does it every fight
with an arrow, and so he did the arrows. Izzy, to his credit, somebody came up with the I can't say the gimmick, but the backstory, this made up backstory. Like, Izzy sent out. He said he shot 3 arrows at the heart of Pereira for each of the 3 losses he suffered against him, and then he's like, I didn't think about it that way, but we're sticking with that story now. I like it. Get credit to the fan.
I thought 3. I believe the 3 arrows are symbolic in his tribe's archery history. So like there's some. I thought Jexy explained that in the group right after it happened. Yeah, somebody or maybe I'll post somebody, but I think the 3 is actually symbolic to the tribe, so that's why he did it. Yeah. No, Izzy's like you said, cerebral, like
indeed.
To the like, and to the point.
And I love Izzy's response to like, we saw you mock his kid. What was that about? He's like, I'm just so petty. He's like, he did this to me.
He's like, I'm just really petty. I'm
that petty.
I'm down. Yep, I like it. He's not denying it.
Bro. Respect.
Because I'm petty too, and I ain't gonna lie. I kind of respect that level of not forgetting.
Bro.
I kind of respect that level of
keep that in your back pocket for 7 years. Ooh.
Yeah. Because I'm somebody like that. Like I won't remember, I have a hard time remembering my birthday or whatever. You know what I mean? Just like
remembering we're podcasting.
I remember what time we're podcasting. But bro, if you ram my cart at a Walmart and like give me a mug, I will fucking remember your face for 20 goddamn years. And when I see you again, I'll be like,
I'm gonna charge you double my rate.
This motherfucker
when you call me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna charge. I'll be like, oh, sorry about that. We spilled all this shit everywhere. Ah, damn it.
Yeah, but, we just happened to find this fucking nuclear waste. Oh, I'm so sorry. It just happened to get into your dog's water. I'm so sorry. Oh.
Yeah, sorry. I fucking accidentally.
Hey, unfortunately, the insurance though doesn't cover this, so you're gonna.
So you're kind of asked out. My terrorism insurance doesn't cover this, but
that's so funny. Fucking what terrorism insurance? What the fuck, dude? That's what they come up with.
Yeah, that's what they came up with.
Not wildfire insurance.
It doesn't protect you if I accidentally kidnap a fucking 6'5" Brazilian named Bigfoot and fucking accidentally release him in your backyard with a machete. So sorry about that. Sorry about that. But all right, getting back to the fight. So Izzy's, I don't know what Izzy's going to do next. Sounds like he's talking about a little bit of Duplessis. Doesn't sound like the Predator rematch is going to happen. If I'm Izzy, send Pereira down to the fucking the depths of the division and fucking have him fight his ass the way back up.
Bro, Duplessis and Strong Strickland are the only people he hasn't fought. Beat Pereira, beat Whitaker twice, beat Vittori, beat Cannonier, beat Costa, beat Brunson at 8. Delise is at 9. Hermansson's at 10. I'm
gonna say something here. I'm gonna say something that's probably a little highly controversial. Okay, but out of all those names you just named. I really believe that Sean Strickland would actually give Izzy a very interesting fight.
He would. Wrestling, and yep.
I really think out of all those names you just mentioned that Sean Strickland might even have the best chance at getting the belt, to be honest. Like,
I'm going to give you like a counterpoint. And I want to skip ahead. I want to skip very far ahead because we mentioned we were only going to do the main card, but I want to make an emphasis to make a point to talk about the final prelim fight that we saw. And that was Kelvin. I'm skipping ahead for my point is Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. We'll talk about the fight in more detail later on. But if Kelvin Gastelum looking like that against Chris Curtis can go on a little hot streak, everyone basically unanimously agrees that Kelvin Gastelum was Izzy's hardest fight. He faced the hardest adversity that he had in any of his fights before he managed to put out Kelvin Gastelum. If Kelvin Gastelum could go on a street, knock out some of those guys, or really dominate against some of those top level competitors, unless Izzy moves up to 205 by the time that happens, that's who I see giving him a world of trouble. If you put it in Mexico, especially, I'll see a world of trouble for Izzy. I feel more than Strickland, although I don't disagree with your Strickland point. Your Strickland point makes total sense. I just want to offer you Kelvin Gastelum at number 11. I on a run.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, look, I think Gastelum would do better. I haven't seen anything from Gastelum to make me feel like he's improving and he's making strides.
This might be Gastelum's final run. Honest to God, this might be his final real significant run.
It is a run. That is. I don't know. Does he even want to fight Izzy? Does he even want the belt?
Hey, if he gets 1 more 2 good wins,
yeah, and he's a big name, like you're saying,
and he's a big name.
He's a big name in that division, that's for sure. In the division,
he's the honest to God outside of the top 5. He's the biggest name.
But there is like, okay, so yes, I agree. In the future potential matchups, which Strickland's a lot closer than Gastelum, but Gastelum could be a potential matchup that gives Izzy some trouble. But I think the more future ahead, Duplessis
the closer fight. Yeah, obviously. Duplessis is ahead, followed by Strickland. Strickland, though, has lost a couple of his like really significant bouts. Bouts that could have put him in that upper echelon.
But against fucking neighbors, dude. He's not losing against jobbers.
You're right.
He's losing against fucking guys who are good.
But he's losing against guys that Izzy beat.
Yeah, but that's MMA math. It doesn't always work. That's why I said I'm gonna say controversial. I know saying that.
I wouldn't call it controversial. I would say disputed. Obviously, because I'm disputing this to a certain
well, I mean, I would say most fans would probably go like, yeah, fucking right. Strickland ain't gonna fucking be able to fight.
Not all the white fans. All the white fans are like, woo, white man.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think most people, if you did look at it, you go, no. Fucking Izzy is definitely more skilled than he is. But you said what you said about the wrestling aspect. And there is the awkwardness of Sean Strickland's movement.
And Sean Strickland can take damage.
And he can definitely take some damage. We saw that in the Pereira fight, but he also got knocked out clean. So
cool.
He could still get knocked out. So.
I loved his response during the pre-fights when they were showing like the clips and stuff. They're like, dude, why do you got to keep using my knockout as a B-roll? Why don't you use somebody else's? He's mentioned somebody else. He's like, use somebody else's knockout. Why you got to use mine for the B-roll?
Yeah. Think about how Michael Bisping felt for Dan Henderson. Dude made his company logo fucking like.
Imagine Vitor Belfort every time, just every fucking UFC fight he attends, fucking front kick, snap back, crumple.
Yeah, imagine Vitor and Bisping every time they see each other.
Every John Jones B-roll,
bro. Bisping's like this over his eye. He's like, "Fuck you, you piece of shit."
Bro, every John Jones B-roll, you see Lyoto Machida just, John, make some fans. Check on him. That's
still such a good fucking classic fucking like just
I knew you like that
footage.
I knew you pop for that
background audio. It's so good.
You pop for that.
Yeah, it's good. All right, well, let's move on. We beat that horse. Co-main welterweight bout. We had Gilbert Burns versus George Masvidal.
I'm so like
I knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah.
We called this, and I mean, dude, Masvidal, I'm glad he retired because I think he should focus on the promotion and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But bro, how long have we been saying Dorino is the fucking man on this show? How long have we been saying this guy is he's the fucking dude? You know what I mean? Like other than fucking Usman, who he just. I don't know if the nerves got to him or what, but we didn't see the burns that we always see when he fought Usman. Dude, he
was rushing. It definitely,
he was nervous. He was 100%
put it for
and fighting a friend. I think that had a lot to do with it.
You fight what?
Fighting a friend. Him and
they were cool. Yeah, they are cool.
They're
cool. So I wonder also how that fight would have played out if they had been in front of an actual crowd, not at the Apex.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, who knows? I mean, you could ask that question for 2 years.
Yeah.
That's a fucking for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude, it was awesome to see Gilbert fucking just being himself. But yeah, he dominated Masvidal.
He was always composed throughout the fight. Never was worried about anything. He was comfortable, confident. His strikes were very crisp. Masvidal, for what it was worth, he threw back. I don't think Masvidal was in any real danger except for maybe like one or two hits that like kind of like staggered him back a little bit, made him really respect the power. But it was all about Burns being a lot more precise. Burns was so much more precise, so much more crisper, quicker, able to evade better. Head movement, Junior. Head movement.
Yeah.
Ronda, head movement.
What? Whack.
Neck kick.
What'd you say, coach? Gilbert Burns. Yeah, dude. He's just he is who he is. He's a problem for the welterweight division. He fucks up. Oh, god damn it! Wow, champion.
Who?
He fucks up Leon. He rushes Leon and he fucks him up. He bulldogs him and he pushes him around. I think if he fights Leon, he becomes a champ. So
if he fights Colby, though, unfortunately, I hate saying that. That's a little bit.
Let's be honest. If anyone fights Kobe.
Yeah, I know. It's a tough.
If anyone fights Kobe, I mean, I know, a lot of people are saying Kobe doesn't deserve a title shot, and he doesn't. But he is probably going to win that fight. You know, unless he doesn't game plan, unless he decides to just go toe for toe with Leon.
I'm hoping Leon. I'm praying to the gods that Leon fucking
I
headshot.
bet you are, bro.
Headshot bang.
You better pray, because if Kobe wins that belt,
Praying.
dude, him and the Trumpers are coming.
Dude, that's the first point I was really gonna make. I'm so surprised at the amount of dick riding these
I was waiting.
These UFC fucking guys. I'm more perturbed about the dick riding of the fucking Cubans in Miami. You fucking idiots. This fucking white man, if he could, him and his fucking people would fucking want to deport you pieces of shit back to your shithole 90 miles away, right? If they fucking could, they would. And yet you stupid sons of bitches, because of all your stupid history in the past, still vote for these fucking assholes who don't give a fuck about brown people. They don't give a fuck. They only care that you vote for them. They don't give a fuck that you live in poverty, that you guys kill each other, that you guys have fucking separated families, that you guys don't ever get the proper justices that you deserve. You fucking idiots. And you want to, ooh, Donald Trump is the best president ever. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, we want to drain the swamp. Let's go, Brandon. Jesus fucking Louises, dude. You know, I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say this. If a fucking hurricane hit Miami, it's karma.
Wow,
it's fucking karma.
Okay,
and everything who's not gonna give a shit really about you? The same motherfucker you voted for or want to vote for.
Everything you said up until the hurricane karma part, if you just applied that to every single person, ethnicity, and every single politician you've ever voted for, then you're 100% correct. Then you're 100% correct.
Ridiculous. All these fucking UFC guys, like, Trump, even Dorino,
here's
fucking Dorino.
Here's the news flash. Here's a fucking news flash. No, it's okay. You want to get political for a second? Here's a fucking news flash. None of them give a fuck about any of you. How about that?
They don't.
Never gave a fuck about you. None of them.
They don't. I always tell my father.
Not that they don't. They never have.
My father.
They never have.
My father.
Because they don't even know you.
Yeah.
They don't know you.
They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't.
They give a fuck about your vote and them fucking eating fucking a 5-star dinner tonight and being driven home by secret security. Yeah, that's what they care about.
Yeah.
And if you fucking got yourself convinced otherwise,
my father gave me a good quote because he's an old man. My father's turning 85 and fucking.
We lost all the fucking viewers.
I know we are, bro. This is just. No, my father had a good quote, bro. Before we move on from the political shit, I just wanted to fucking throw that out there. You guys can rail on me all you want. Fuck you. But what's it called? My father gave a good quote. It was from a Democratic politician, and they talked about Social Security. And my father's an old man; he's turning 85 on 420. And freaking, he goes, the Republican Alan Grayson said that the government doesn't give a fuck about old people. They don't care about trying to help you. They just care about when you're gonna die, so they can stop paying you Social Security. And I was like, that's pretty fucking accurate.
Very accurate quote.
It's a very fucking accurate quote.
Very true. It's dooming and it's damned, but it's very true. And if you know anything about life, you know that you have to fight and get what you got to get for yourself. You just have to, no matter where you come from, who you are. Sure, maybe certain things, but at the end of the day, there's always these levels, and there's always in humanity, in history, and throughout time, there has always been a certain percentage of people who are rulers and who are top and royalty and all this stuff, and then there's the rest.
Yeah,
and that's always how it's been.
And
now we are in a state where those lines are kind of blurring because of social and economic things, but at the same time, they're absolutely still there. We're still living by those same codes. We're still living by those same things.
I'm just annoyed.
You still judge your neighbor if he drives a shittier car than you. You still judge your neighbor if he votes differently.
My father said this.
You know what I mean? Like, everyone still fucking hates on each other because you drive a different car. So it's just like, at the end of the day, we're still doing the same petty bullshit.
My father gave me another good quote.
Up and painted everything, guys.
He gave me another good quote, of life quote, which makes total sense.
Life's good.
There's two types of white people, right? There's the northern white people that don't care how much you make or how good of a life you live, as long as you don't live next to them. Yeah. And then you have the southern white people, which you would know about this, Andy. They don't care about if you live next to them, really. They just want to make sure that you don't have more than them. They care that you make less and you are less than them.
Yeah. And now you I mean, I guess kind of. But
I'm surprised this number 0 isn't going like -1, -2.
what about the third group of whites? You know what I mean? Like who are they? The hippies, right? And the hipsters. The hipsters. That's the third group of whites now. We have a third group of whites.
Sometimes I can't.
And they're like for everything. You know what I mean? They're like for everything, but just only if you're white. That's the third group of whites now.
But no, I just wanted to bring up like all these fucking dick riders, dude. Ali, fucking Gilbert, even after he won. Masvidal.
They're dick riding, but you could say the same thing.
Kevin Holland. I was so surprised.
Dude, you could say the same thing about these. That's because you don't read on these guys and you don't know their background. I do, and I'm not surprised by any of this. To be honest with you, I'm not surprised when a liberal or when a celebrity fucking endorses Biden. I'm not going to be surprised when a conservative or like a fucking MMA fighter endorses a Republican or Trump. And
I feel like it's written in your UFC contract. You must support Donald Trump,
bro. Well, I mean, look at the background and the demographic of people.
Fight night bonuses. You have to not speak English or vote for Trump.
Yeah, but look at the demographic and the background of all these people and where they're coming from. You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense. It checks out.
Poor as shit. He just happens to be Cuban.
I was surprised. I was surprised you were so surprised, to be honest. You kept saying that. I was just like, really? You don't know. Do you not? Dude, you live in Florida. He lives in your fucking
I live in one of the only fucking cities in Florida.
He lives in your state.
I know, and it's bullshit. I hate it. Just want to fucking you know what I would love? I would love the day after tomorrow to just form over Mar-a-Lago. That humongous F6 hurricane, category 6 hurricane.
Don't get us on a watch list. All right, let's move on. Okay, well, moving on. The fucking welterweight. We'll just go to the next fight. How about that? Bantamweight bout. fucking bantamweight bout. We got Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez, dude.
This ended faster than I thought.
Whoa, and not the way. I mean, look, Rob. I knew Rob Font was going to bring it, but let's be honest. Yanez has been on a fucking 9-fight win streak, dude.
Yeah, he's been on a tear.
He's been KOing dudes. He's been just knocking them out.
He's one of the bright up and coming stars. He just got his number recently.
Live by the sword, die by the sword, my friend.
Yeah,
and that is exactly what happened. You know, what I mean?
And for all those people writing off Rob Font, no, sir, cannot write off Rob Font, sir. That would be a very poor decision, sir.
Yeah, Giannis found that out real quick.
You know what's crazy too is that fucking his that's interesting that his rank didn't change whatsoever. Neither of them, not Giannis, nor Rob Font. And that's interesting considering Marlon Vera took such a hard L against Corey Sandhagen that Rob Font didn't leapfrog Marlon Vera. That tells you a lot in terms of like how the promotion, if you want to talk about like all the non-fight stuff, how they view the rankings and stuff. That tells you right there in terms of where they see Rob Font versus where they see Chito Vera in terms of promotional abilities and capabilities and stuff for you not to want to fucking leapfrog him at minimum. Same thing with Piotr Jan. You tell me Rob Font. Yeah, I would be a great fight. Rob Font versus Piotr Jan would be a great fight. But I'm very surprised that he didn't leapfrog any of those guys with how, like, you know, granted, it is a lower ranked opponent. Adrian Yanez is only 12. So it's not like something like truly significant. It's not like you knocked out.
I mean, like competition wise, it was definitely a big step up for him. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's been knocking guys out in the top 10.
No. I'm talking about Rob Font. Not Yanez.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why they didn't give him credit for it.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, Rob Font's ranked number 6. You know what I mean? So this is a fight he should have won, but it was one of those
not in that way.
Because not in that way. We didn't think it was gonna happen that way. But I mean, honestly, I thought Giannis was gonna I thought he was gonna win by KO just because he was on that. Like, if Rob Font would have lost, I would have been like, well, yeah, Giannis.
I would have picked Rob. You know, if we had done the preview, I would have picked Rob Font by decision in a really good close fight. I would have gone 29-28, probably Rob Font if they would have.
Really, after all that heat on Giannis, dude, 9 KOs.
I understand that, but Rob Font,
boxing fucking.
Bro, I don't write off Rob Font. Maybe because I'm Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican. That's part of it. But I don't write off Rob Font. Rob Font is a very good fighter, technical fighter, can go to the ground. He's got all the tools of the trade. He's just, you know, when the big moment comes, he just hasn't capitalized on that really when you really think about it. But he's still an excellent fighter. Certainly, in my opinion, a top 5 fighter. Title fighter. That's you know, we have more to be said. He's got to really take out some of the big guns of the division to do that. But he is certainly a contender, a perennial, a top 10 person, consistently top 5. So I would have chosen Rob Font based off the experience and his grit over Adrian Yanez. And like I said, I would have taken him not unanimous. So maybe split, but I would have gone 29-28 decision. Had it gone that way. But it didn't go that way. Rob Font pieced Yanez up. Pieced him up, was never in any sort of danger. And you can't really you can't really take away anything from Yanez because Yanez came in, he looked solid himself. It's just those little minor mistakes against a proven, chiseled vet.
Proven guy. Also, I mean, he just ran into a Puerto Rican brick wall, bro. Like literally. Like he was just sprinting ahead and then just smack. Nope, not gonna happen. Not passing this obstacle, my friend.
Hey, it sounds like the Puerto Rican government and they're fucking citizens. Brick wall. Nope. Oppression. Sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar, huh? Yeah. But yeah, Rob Font, he definitely he liberated. You know what I'm saying? He fucking broke through that American oppression and fucking put Yanez down, dude.
So like I said, I want to see the next fight for Rob Font. I really want to see him against Python.
I think that'd be a great fight too. Yeah, that'd be a really great fight.
That would be a really great fight. It
stinks because Peter is kind of like, he's kind of on the downs a little bit,
Hey, then that's Rob's big moment. If you can't take a former champion who's on the decline and fucking do something with that fight, you probably won't. Because I mean, who else is above him when you think about it, right? Chito Vera, that would be a good fight. But again, promotional things with Marlon Vera, they really want to push him against the potential eventual champion Sean O'Malley if that becomes. He's not going to beat Dagashvili, I don't believe. Corey Sandhagen and Rob Font would be a good fight, but I believe they fought already, and I believe Sandhagen won, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
So, if Sandhagen becomes a champion, they have a rematch, but at some point. But he's kind of in that, like, because it's such a tough division, and he's already lost to a couple of those guys. He's really banking on Aljo fucking vacating and going elsewhere for him to get another crack, and that's even after another very solid victory at minimum for him to potentially get that. So he's kind of there it is. So Petr Yan, I think, is the best route for him. Hopefully the UFC makes that fight, and it'll be a banger for the fans. That'll definitely be a fight night main event, in my opinion.
What about Yanez? Where do you see him next?
I mean, Yanez still has all the potential in the world. He's still very young. I would make a joke and say put him against a Nurmagomedov, but I don't know. But if I could see, I could still see the promotion trying to push Yanez. Considering, I would love to see him versus Ricky Simon. 10.
Ooh, okay, yeah,
that would be another good fan-friendly fight. Trying to step back up. I think that would be a really solid fight for both guys. Simone continues to solidify himself. If he could beat Yanez, at that point, Yanez would be on a decline himself. But if the promotion really wants to push Yanez, he's got fan support. He's starting to get a little bit of a name. Put that fight together.
That's good. I like that. All right, cool. Moving on. The next fight's a welterweight bout. The Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. And man, I was so pumped for this fight. The walkout, everything, the build up,
it was good.
Seeing Kevin Holland at welterweight again.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
I'm really happy with the performance from Kevin Holland.
Yeah, showed up, and Ponzinibbio is no slouch. Ponzinibbio was ready.
He looked like a goddamn lightweight in there. To be fair, though, I mean, dude,
who, Kevin Holland?
No, Ponzinibbio. Ponzinibbio looked very small. I mean, I don't know if it's Kevin Holland being so big.
Kevin Holland's so tall
from the middleweight division, but god damn, he looked like he dwarfed Ponzinibbio from a few different angles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know
that's because Holland's lanky and Ponzinibbio is still very stacked.
Holland's thick. He's very thick. He's not like
underratedly thick. And I saw him live.
He's very underratedly thick. Yeah,
he is.
But you could see it. You could definitely see it at the welterweight weight, and him fighting and having to keep that diet. You could see his thickness coming out more. You know what I mean?
And the commentators made a good point. They're like, "Oh, he doesn't look drained. It doesn't look like the weight cut was that bad. Like this is his natural weight that he should be fighting at." For now,
he was being too lazy, undisciplined at 85.
Yeah,
it's why those guys do. It's why a lot of the old timers talk about how weight cutting sucks and it's not a good part of the sport, but it does offer a very for a lot of these guys who can't do it without it. It offers them this disciplined backbone system to build the entire camp off of because they got to make the weight.
Yeah, because you can't literally as soon as you get the fight announcement that day or the next day, basically you're all right, diet going from fucking 5,000.
You're like, you get the fight announcement, you're just like, you're like fucking in and out.
Yeah, and then the next day you're probably puking it up after freaking going like 10 rounds of wrestling or
fucking
something.
5-mile run, or something.
10 rounds of wrestling, you're fucking
wrestling with a guy named Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, you're going to the puke bucket, boy.
Yeah, you're going to the puke bucket a few times. But yeah, for Holland, with the win over Pereira, Pereira was at 15. I'd like to see Holland, at least get ranked. Fuck, he called out Masvidal, but Masvidal's retiring. So
that's done.
Dude, you got Chiesa, Magny, Luque, Brady, Neal. I'd say go for any one of those guys, dude. You know what I mean? Like Chiesa, honestly, probably the toughest matchup for him out of all that. But
I was gonna say Chiesa would probably be the most logical, despite being the most tough.
Yeah, I would say Neal or Magny would be a good matchup for him too.
Yeah, Magny would be a very good matchup as well.
Yeah.
Magny will definitely go for the ground.
But I honestly, but yeah, definitely. But out of all those fights, like I'd like to see him fight Vicente Luque, like entertainment wise. I think that'd be the funnest fight.
I would probably agree with you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, him and Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque's at number 10. Yeah. That'd be a good fight. Both of them got good names.
Yeah, I think once they take Masvidal off the rankings, I think they bump up fucking Madalena and Pereira and put Colin at 15, and then you have let him see what he can do. Put him against Magny or Luque. Yeah.
Well, and Luque and Magny are both main card pay-per-view guys. So if Holland's now on the main card on pay-per-views, you can definitely put him up against. Yeah, I could see that definitely.
Or he'll probably end up what's it called? Another fight night main event. He's already had like 2 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah, but once they start putting them, they do that so they can start transitioning to the main cards.
Yeah, to the main cards.
What I mean? So they can start, especially
they
want to pump up their pay-per-view.
I'll say this: if he faces Neil Magny, it's a fight night main event. If he fights Vicente Luque, it's like the second fight on the main card.
Yeah, I don't know about second. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
second fight on the main card.
Second fight, yeah. All right, moving on. In the bantamweight division, Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez.
I was so happy about this, sir.
Were we happy?
Yes, we were, sir.
Yep. I'm not eating my
finally took that fucking ugly fucking gremlin down a notch. And people are gonna talk shit. Oh, you're talking shit about an 18-year-old that can kick your ass. I don't give a fuck. That motherfucker looks like a gremlin. He talked too much shit for being 18. Humble yourself, young man.
Well, look, despite his looks, his attitude is atrocious. His fucking he said this weekend, or he said this week that a couple of the veteran UFC fighters were complaining that he's on the main card and shit, and he's just like, yeah, they should just take notes. It's just like maybe you should fucking take
notes on how to beat your fucking opponent.
Good lord, bro. Yeah,
bro.
Completely exhausted. A complete mismanagement of energy. Just too young. Just young. He went in first round. Just completely exhausted himself.
Yeah,
basically
won
tried
the round.
to get a
round, but
he won, but kinda. I mean, he basically spent about 4.5 minutes trying to get a takedown, and he
had his back. He put him in choke situations. He had dominant control.
He wasn't on the ground for more than a minute, I don't believe.
He still rode his back for a long period of time.
Most of the round attempting the takedown.
That still points though, because Gutierrez couldn't effectively do anything except defend.
That's not points, because he is defending. To your point, he is defending actually, so it doesn't.
But he's still being put in. Rosa still managed to put him in situations. Objectively speaking, he managed to put him in difficult situations, made him fucking have to defend. And I think that's something that
at a cost to what though?
Like, you're right. No, that's your counterpoint is 100% fair. Yeah, he exhausted himself. Round 2, he was exhausted. Round 3, he was the Walking Dead. He was the Walking Dead.
He was the Walking Dead in round 2, to be honest. Like he came out
getting there. He was round 3 tired. He was round
Rodriguez. Rodriguez was like,
I'm just getting started, baby. Yeah.
No, he just literally he in the third round, he was tossing this kid on his head. He was tossing him on his fucking head.
Yeah, really was. The third round was the true definition of a man versus a boy.
This is just a fucking dude who Dana White for some reason fucking likes or loves, and he's just giving him a fucking shot.
You know what pisses me off?
I don't understand. It to me, it makes just as much
what pisses me off.
Flat fight shit.
Dude, you want to know what pisses me off is the fact that the UFC gave up on Brendan Loughnane, somebody who Conor McGregor was heavily rooting for, and they didn't listen to Conor. They said, "Oh, let this kid get experience in the PFL." So what is he doing in the PFL? He's murdering guys in the PFL. Yeah, you want to fucking put fucking Raul Rosas, 18-year-old fresh virgin ass in the UFC with fucking grown killers. Okay, kid, good luck.
Honestly, I hope he keeps doing shit like this. I whatever it takes to get that guy fucking removed, like just keep going. Like I hope put Rose Jr. versus the champion next time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he said I faced Aljo and I beat him in training.
Bro, okay, that's another thing. That is another fucking thing in MMA, boxing, anything. You are a piece of shit if you come out and talk about a fight or what happened in the goddamn locker room. Oh, you want to know how many fucking locker room champions are walking around the earth right now? Guys who beat whoever. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Oh yeah,
like,
bro, that screams the bravado of like fucking like you're like the seasoned guy who's been
of a high
for like
school
2 years
of a
and you
teenager.
fucking go and some random schmuck that like really just wants to work out and like try and lose some weight. He goes in there with you and you just fucking go 100% on him. You're one of those schmucks.
Like, dude, like it just, yeah, like, and then to say that, I mean, it's one thing for if Aljo gave him permission, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, tell him that, it'll spice it up. That's one thing. But to try to build a storyline or to try to make a fight or whatever, and to say, like, I got advantage over this guy in the gym, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I've never fucking liked that shit. I've always thought
everybody knows on Aljo's best day,
shit,
he would fucking devour
this fucking kid.
Christian
Rodriguez just murdered your ass, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you want to know who should go to the PFL? You should go to the fucking PFL.
That third round was
shit.
What was the final card? Because you could make a real argument for that third round being 10-8 because of how fucking dominant he was.
I have it.
You gotta be 30-26 is in there somewhere. Actually, no, we shouldn't be doing the Jeffrey song for this show. Should be doom 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 doom.
Okay, so Christopher Lee had a 28-29, Sal D'Amato had a 27-29, and David Tyree Lee had it 28-29.
So the second one was a 27-29. That's a 10-8 round in the third round.
Yeah, Sal D'Amato gave him a 10-8 in the fucking third.
It makes sense. I would have given him a 10-8 in the third. It was that bad. It was not even talking shit because I don't like the kid. It was that fucking bad. He got fucking mauled.
Yeah, he did get mauled. No, that's what I'm saying. That third round, dude. Like I said, dude,
he broke him. And by the end of the second round, he broke the kid.
I don't see how a kid as 18, 19-year-old could possibly have the fucking stamina to keep up with the guy who's training full time I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't.
Well, Raul Rosas dropped out of high school.
He hasn't even been through college.
He dropped out of high school to fucking compete.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, this kid hasn't even been through fucking college to bulk up and to mature as a man. And
I think what it is UFC wants to find another John Jones, that fucking prodigy that at like 22 years old.
John Jones went to college.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Jones had 4 years of Greco-Roman wrestling.
Yeah.
There's a difference, dude. You can't, the UFC is a big believer in making prodigies out of nothing. And you can't. You have to develop prodigies. You have to find them and you have to develop them. The last real great prodigy in this sport was BJ Penn.
Yeah.
Really. He was the last real great prodigy in this sport. That was like located. He was found early when he was still a teenager. He was basically like sought out by the MMA community, trained, and became this MMA legend when he was in his 20s, but he already had all these fights under his belt in his 20s, like when he was a teenager in his 20s and shit. He was a real prodigy. He was the first guy who won the Open as an American.
Yeah.
No one had ever done that before. Only Brazilians. Yeah. So it's just like, dude, yeah, I mean, I could go on all night about BJ Penn. But yeah, you know,
when you think about all the latest guy that they want to push, Bo Nickel. What does Bo Nickel have? Dominant college wrestling.
Yeah.
Super dominant.
That, you know, we should bring that up because going back to, you know, that we'll talk about this and we can move on to the fight night. But, you know, that is, you know, going back to the main event, Izzy or Pereira, whoever would be the champion, but it's, you know, it's going to be Izzy now. The problem is that you've got some fucking motherfuckers coming up who can wrestle, dude. And Bo Nickel he might be at the very bottom of that list.
Premier wrestler in the division
He would beat him now. He would beat him
Nickel.
right now if he was wrestling them, if he got them, not in a fight, I'm saying on the mat in wrestling.
Yeah,
he murders them, dude. He murders
the
them.
only question for Bo Nickel is how he would do with the leg kicks, because no one's effectively attacked Bo Nickel's legs. And though you don't use
so strong, he's a wrestler, dude.
Oh, I know.
His legs are so strong.
Yeah.
I bet you he's fine on the leg.
You know, Izzy's game plan would 1000% be teep kicks, side kicks, keeping him at distance. Got to keep him at distance, and eventually it fails because Bo Nickel will probably put enough forward pressure and then fucking manage to get within close enough distance to grab a double leg, and then it's a fucking woo-wee. Bo Nickel grabs a double leg and takes you down. Woo-wee. You're in for a long night, player.
You're in for a long ride.
And Izzy has improved on the ground, but not to the level to.
Get out of here. He can't. There's nothing he can do.
He can't get up like that.
There's nothing he can do. The idea of what you said of his defense is a fantasy outside of 30 seconds, because once he grabs them, all those kicks, all that, his defense his game plan is going to be shrimping. That's going to be the goddamn game plan, because that's the only thing you're going to be able to even remotely attempt to do against a guy who has that much grappling knowledge and experience. That's just a fucking problem, dude. Just like, what has happened to the 155 division in the last 2 to 3 last 5-6 years is a testament to that. And those, you know what I mean? That's
wrestling,
that's Russian Sambo wrestling, dude. Like that, it's no joke. So wrestling,
it really is. You know, when you have like the most complete MMA fighter, I totally agree with the sentiment that the premier tool that you need is wrestling.
GSP.
Wrestling will give you cardio. Wrestling will give you strength. Wrestling will fucking give you endurance. Wrestling will give you fucking any way to fucking beat an opponent.
I mean, you know, there was that talk with GSP versus Silva all those years ago. Yeah. And it's like, I always felt that if that ever went down, that obviously Anderson would be the bigger of the two.
And he has his jiu-jitsu. Anderson has his jiu-jitsu. Okay. He's a legitimate black belt.
You're right. And he did prove it against a guy who had legitimate wrestling in Chael Sonnen.
Yes.
But however, I believe there is a difference. And I do think that GSP would very much use that ground game to
try and nullify Anderson Silva.
Yeah, for sure.
And because we've seen Anderson vulnerable on the ground, even though he proved his jiu-jitsu against him, Chael smothered him for 4 rounds.
You remember that? Can you believe that though? How about this? We've never talked about this, but we should, for just a quick second, appreciate the lore that Anderson Silva had even against grapplers up until Chael Sonnen. Up until Chael Sonnen, dude, it was thoroughly believed throughout the MMA community and the analysts involved that there wasn't a wrestler alive who could touch Anderson Silva.
No.
That his ground game, his black belt jiu-jitsu was that fucking good.
Yeah.
And we had never even really seen it.
You had never seen it because he was fucking busy murdering kids with his feet and hands.
And we had seen him lose to submissions. We've seen him lose in pride to submissions. So we knew that was something that he kind of was weak, but no one believed it. He had grown as such this massive lore at the time that none of us believed it. And then when Chael Sonnen, a real wrestler, got in there and fucking took him down.
Wasn't scared of Anderson Silva at all.
Scared. We were just like,
all right, if he knocks me out, he knocks me out. But I'm going to get his ass on the ground.
Well, and there was that, you remember after the fight, there was that fucking excuse that Ed Soros gave for fucking Anderson Silva about the rib. Remember that? Yeah. Remember they said, his rib, he hurt his rib in camp. It's like, okay, I know you hurt your rib in camp, but did you hurt your rib in camp or did you get dominated for 4.5 rounds? Let's be honest.
I'm sure he trained it. He hurt his rib training.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he hurt that. He didn't get kicked in the fucking rib. No, somebody fucking probably got him on the ground.
Right.
He fucking shrimped the wrong way. Fucking popped cartilage or something.
No, I think it was a kick. It was something like, it was a strike. It was something that broke a rib. It's very common. It happens. I mean, these guys never talk about it.
Imagine you're training with Anderson Silva and you're the guy who broke his rib with a strike in camp. Like, that's got to be like a catch-22.
You're not training tomorrow.
You're not training ever again with Anderson Silva.
You're not training tomorrow. You're going home.
And imagine if you have the real pride that you're supposed to have, where you can't really talk about that. Imagine if Raul Rosas broke the rib of fucking Aljamain Sterling in camp. The amount of shit we would have heard from this fucking kid about it.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. Well, that's why he's not cool. He's not in the cool camp. You can't let a guy in like that. You know what I mean? Apparently, he's gonna fucking talk about it. But yeah, no, that but to cap off the card, Raul Ruiz Jr. Versus Christian Rodriguez. Yeah, he definitely got taught a lesson. So
100%.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the card, I would definitely go back and watch. The prelims are good as well.
We need to talk about Kelvin Gastelum, bro, before we move on. Talk about Kelvin Gastelum, Chris Curtis. That was such a fucking fabulous fight. I did not expect that fight to go that back and forth. I should have, but I didn't. I expected Curtis to go in there and actually do fairly well against Gastelum, but this Gastelum is the best he's looked in years. And he came in there, prepared for war. He gave Curtis hell. He ate some strikes, and credit to Curtis. He found some openings and he managed to try and do what he could. But Gastelum looked like he was on a fucking mission. And he fucking got the unanimous decision. It was a great fight. It was one of the best fights of the night, all things considered. And that, I totally 1000% agreed with Chris Curtis that, like, bro, like, you bumped me off the fucking main card for this fucking little jit, and you see the little jit get dominated, but yet fucking here I am putting on a potential fight of the night against fucking a real name, a real fucking killer like Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, he had real merit to his complaints. I thought
1000% he had real merit.
Unfortunately, it's not going to go very far in that company. But yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. Doesn't make no sense for fucking Rose Jr. to fucking even be here. But slap fight leagues is thing, so whatever. You know what I mean? Like, get yourself canceled, Dana. Go for it. I mean, can he do anything stupider? I just don't understand.
Hey, he's now official colleagues with Vince McMahon. Yeah. I guarantee you there's stupider paths he can go down.
I'll get to that. Okay.
We'll get to that at the end.
All right. Well, that wraps up 287. Let's move on to the UFC Fight Night. Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen. So starting right at the top of the main card, Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen. That's a fucking fire ass fight, dude. That's gonna be no hold barred. Fucking.
That's looking forward to it.
Like, you don't need fucking thumbtacks. You don't need Hell in a Cell. You don't need chairs, dude. These two guys, I really believe, will bring it.
Yeah.
And Arnold fucking Allen, dude, he's fucking.
This is his big moment.
Big moment.
This is his big moment.
The problem is,
Max fucking hands of fucking steel.
Yeah, dude.
Hands of fucking Flash. Holloway. Mr. 500, what is it? What was it? 483 or 500 something significant strikes in a single fight?
500 something. Yeah.
Baby.
If Arnold Allen is able to get over on Max Holloway, he'll be the first of the bottom guys to break through. He'll be the first. He'd be the first, because anytime these guys have tried to come up and touch Max, including Yair, they get a lesson. A lesson in economics and in strategy. So I see Max Holloway dominating the fight, to be honest. I really do.
I see it too, but I'm not going to pick him. I think this is Arnold Allen's big moment. I think Arnold Allen is going to show his grit and show his determination. My question for Holloway is, how motivated is Max Holloway, considering he's got no real path at the title as long as Volk is there? He really has no true path.
That's not true. Holloway said, dude, don't be surprised if you see a fourth fight with dude. He literally said that. And I'm like, you know what?
That quote, and I'm
cool with it.
I am too, but at the same time,
you're cool with it, man.
I'd much rather see Ortega Volk. We're gonna see Yair and Volk. I want Arnold Allen versus Volk. And granted, Arnold Allen, I don't think he would definitely have to work on his ground game to try and fucking keep up with Volk's. But on the feet, I think that would be a tremendous fight. I'm just not big on it just because of the fact that there's so many other competitors. I want Chance St. John. I want Korean Zombie to fucking get a good run going. I want to see him versus Volk. Giga Kikatse, if he could fucking go on a good run. Topuria, who's starting to come up on a run. There's so many different things, and Volkanovski I don't think is going to make it that far down the line. I think he'll probably try and move up to fucking lightweight and try and get that fucking second Makhachev fight, because he came pretty close to beating him. And then also you have the other thing of what happens with fucking Henry Cejudo, who wants to face Volk. That's another big fucking name that's coming out there. So there's many other ways to go. I don't see Holloway having a real path at this stage. I wouldn't disagree with it if they made the fight, but I'm down on that perception. And like I said, so because of that factor, I think Arnold Allen's grit and determination, this is going to be, like I said, the real big test. The former champion, one of the one of the best featherweights of all time. I have faith that he has what it takes to pull it out. I'm going to pick Arnold Allen to win by decision. I'm just saying, though, I would not be surprised whatsoever if Volk just fucking pieced him to fucking shit. It's the least convincing pick that I could give you. But
also too, you're forgetting one thing. If Volk still has to get through Yair, so if Yair actually beats Volk, then Max has a immediate path to the fucking championship.
1,000%.
Immediate.
That's why I said as long as Volk is champion, he doesn't.
Yeah,
I made that caveat. As long as
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, as long as Volk is champion, he has no path. If Yair wins, that's the first fight right there.
Solid. Yeah.
Unless it's like a split fucking controversial decision, then obviously.
All right. Well, you got Allen by decision. I got Holloway by decision. So sounds good. I mean, honestly, if I were to pick Arnold Allen to win, I would think KO personally. But yeah, I can
bet
see
20 on it.
Huh?
Want to bet 20 on it?
Sure, dude. You want to bet 20 on 20 push-ups?
Yeah, 20 push-ups on
20 push-ups?
Yeah.
20 all day, bro. For my boy Max Holloway, I'll give you 30, dog. No problem. No problem.
I'm out of shape, so I'll stick 20.
He's scared. Yeah. Max, especially decision. Yeah, I don't see Arnold Allen decisioning Max Holloway, so I'll take that. But good on you, sir. I like you sticking to your guns. Yeah. Okay, next fight on the card so far is Edson Barboza versus Billy Quarantillo. How do you say that last name? I feel like I should know how to say it.
You're right, Quarantillo.
You
want to say it in Spanish, even though he's not really Spanish.
But he's not Spanish. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, he's Italian. Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say. I knew it was an Italian.
He's an Italian from Boston, just on
Billy Quarantillo.
He's from Boston. I want him to lose.
Hey, Billy boy, Billy badass, whatever they call him. Billy at that.
I want him to lose. I'm picking Barboza.
Hey, it's Billy the Battery.
Hey, I'm picking Barboza. Hey, I'm picking Barboza.
Hey, I'm picking Barboza all motherfucking day, dude. Yeah, I'm picking him to wheel kick this Billy kid all the way back to the Chicago mob, dude.
I don't got wheel kick. I got fucking neck kick. I got Holly Holm neck kick.
All right. Oh, axe. Oh, well, it's more of a what kind of kick was that? It was a
it's a round kick. It was a round kick to the neck.
It was a round kick, yeah.
It's a round kick to the neck, sir.
Okay. Next one, we got light heavyweight. Dustin Jacoby versus Azamat Murzakanov.
This will be a potentially good fight. Potentially.
Yeah, I'm picking Azamat by fucking smashing.
Probably. I want to lead this. I'm gonna be rooting for Jacoby, but yeah, I'm picking fucking more Sambo wrestling.
That's okay. I think Jacoby's from Florida, so probably. Okay, light heavyweight bout. Tanner Boser versus Ion Cutelaba. I think this may be Mr. Cutelaba's last chance in the UFC. He better get a win here.
I'm picking Cutelaba.
I'm picking Boser because I don't like Cutelaba, and I hope he fucking goes to the PFL. So
why?
Because he's a dick, dude. He's just a fucking. I don't like his antics. I think he's a. I just don't like any of that. I just, to me,
I don't ever really feel impressed though by Boser.
No, I don't either. And honestly, it kind of feels like the UFC's wanting the Cutelaba to win this, but I don't know. But he's one of those guys where, he's tried these like antics and stuff like that, and he doesn't back it up in the fights. And he's still, he still tries to be like this fucking tough Moldovan guy. And it's just, I just don't buy it. I don't buy it.
He reminds you of, you see Cutelaba, it looks like one of the fucking guys that John Wick would shoot in the head.
Yeah. He looks like a mafia dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then go be a mafia dude. Why are you fighting the UFC? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Send him to Russia. Send him to the Russian MMA promotion. Right?
Yeah. Send him to the Russian army. Let him go fight Ukraine. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, why the fuck? Like, I don't know. I'm just not into his shtick, I guess. And it doesn't work. It seems lame to me. So
he doesn't have that like personality that makes it like really stand out. It's just like
he's just loud. He tries to be like intimidating, but then he gets in the fights and he's just like kind of a bitch, and you know what I mean. Like, so
you wouldn't say that to his face though. Fucking.
I mean, I would say it to his face, but he probably fucking.
Then I'd be looking for a new co-host. Angel, get your mic ready, sir.
He'd probably murder me with an axe. You know what I mean? Because it's CTE or machete. You know what I mean? So I don't know what they got in Moldova.
Well, the first podcast after you're dead, we're gonna do it at your grave, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do the first. Yeah, honestly, it'd behoove you to for me to get killed by this guy. The podcast would shoot up. They talk about us. We'd be on the MMA.
I told him you wouldn't say it to his face, and he did. Props to Andy, but hey, you know, send your audition tapes to MMAformarks@gmail.com, guys.
Former UFC fighter indicted on murder charges for killing former podcaster with a machete.
Podcast host with a machete.
Oh, well, you gotta grade me after I die. I mean, at that point, I would think we'd be talked about so much, it wouldn't be B graded at that point, you know. You definitely would have to find a new co-host, though. You know what you should do? You should hire an AI to fucking like listen to the show in the past and just recreate a version of me.
Did you know that they had an AI announcer for the Masters?
No.
Legitimately, IBM created an AI announcer, and it actually sounded like a regular golf announcer.
Did you know that this podcast I listen to called Dudesy, they have an AI run the show, and it made a hour-long stand-up comedy special by Tom Brady last week.
Wow.
And it sounds like him, and the jokes are fucking funny. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. I'll send it to you. I meant to post it in the group, actually. I should have posted in the group. It is ridiculous. Like, you have to pay to like watch the whole thing, but I just watched the 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But the AI Dudesy made a fucking hour-long special. Like he does ad reads for the show as celebrities, as their voices. Like he does them.
That's some like Alexa Samuel L. Jackson shit right there.
No, for real, bro. He'll like do them as like the last one he did like Tom Hanks. He's done like Robert De Niro. He's done a bunch of them. But then he literally in the middle of a podcast.
Yeah. I forget who
he goes, yeah. I have made an hour-long comedy special as Tom Brady, and they preview it, and it's literally sounds like Tom Brady. He like comes up, he's just like, "Hey, how you guys doing?" He's just like, I'm doing all right. Just realizing I'm in a midlife crisis because I'm up here, and it's dude, but it sounds like him. He's like, hey, I want to know something. He's like, how many of you guys? He's like, hands up. He's like, hands up if you ever played football. Hands up if you ever played high school football. Hands up if you played college football. Hands up if you played professional. Hands up if you got 1 Super Bowl ring. Hands up if you got 2 Super Bowl rings. He goes all the way up to 7. And he's just like, all right. He's like, at least one of us keeping their hands up. It kills.
So fucking
like
good.
It kills, dude. I was as a fan of stand-up comedy.
You put Brandon Schaub to shame?
Oh, bro, he should be. Brandon Schaub is he's fucking get him out of there, dude. Like he doesn't. Dudes, he blew him out the water.
Chain, exit stage right, yank.
Yeah, dude, the Gringo Poppy's a piece
I forget what it was.
Shit.
There was an EDM show. There was an EDM host that created Eminem's voice, like saying like a dubstep drop. They're like, just the flow that make the beat, like to just sound just like Eminem, and then drop the bass. And I was like, oh shit, that's pretty fucking cool.
That's cool. Well, at what point though, it makes me wonder, because the same thing with this is why we need a regular show. But this like AI stuff is just like, dude, at what point what point do these celebrities have their agents reach out and be like, stop impersonating me or I'm gonna sue you? Like,
cease and desist.
They're literally like, because they have this it's not even a real like product, but they have this thing on the show called Dudesy mugs, and the AI has come up with like this fucking, like they sell them, but it's not like a thing, and he makes like commercials for them, and he has like these celebrities come on and but he's doing their voice. And so he's just like talking as them, and he's all just like, when you need a shower and there's a murderer outside, Dudesy mugs. Like that's literally the fucking ads. It'll be like, when you have a flat tire and trying to go to the beach, Dudesy mugs. Like it's just like, it's so fucking random, dude. And it's it's just so fucking weird. If you've not checked out that show, you should definitely check it out. Dudesy.
Hopefully the AI hears this and plugs us.
Hopefully the AI hears this and plugs us. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It makes a bunch of AI art, and it's like really fucking weird, dude. Like
Terminator's coming,
really
bro.
weird, bro. Oh, it's here. Skynet's here, baby.
Skynet's here, baby. Elon.
All right.
Elon.
Moving on. Eon. Moving on. Bantamweight bout. Pedro Munoz versus Chris Gutierrez.
Didn't he just fight?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
I was like, Pedro Munoz did just fight, and then I got what you were saying. Yeah, I was like, he just fucking fought. What's his face?
He just beat the shit out of Rosas.
He just beat the shit out of Rosas Jr. That's how much Dana White hated that he beat him. He's just like, you're fighting next week, motherfucker.
Pedro fucking Munoz.
It's Pedro Munoz. And we're gonna rank you 13.
Oh God.
Yeah, I got Pedro Munoz in that by KO. To be honest with you. Yeah,
I got Pedro by decision.
All right.
Wrong
All right, next fight, and then we won't go into the prelims. Clay Guida versus Rafa Garcia.
Clay Guida gonna fucking retire?
Yeah, dude, for real. I feel like Clay Guida and what's his face, Arlovsky, they're riding the same vibe.
Bro, I feel like if ever a child, they'll grow up to see Clay Guida in this final fight.
Yeah, for real, dude. I've been watching. Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be a senior by the time this guy retires. Like, I've been watching him since I was a kid, bro. He's you know what I'm saying? Like,
crazy, dude.
Crazy.
He's only in his early 40s. It's the crazy part.
Yeah, but he's basically fucking 83 because he's been fighting for 25.
I mean, he looks 83. Being white doesn't help.
Yeah. Well, and then he's also like a fisher outdoorsman guy. So like when he's not fighting, he's literally like living in the woods. So
it makes sense.
Those guys don't necessarily have the best skin. So
it's gotta be, at least he's relaxed though. Bro, he's got to be doing like fucking mushrooms in the fucking woods, like hanging out with fucking Khabib's bears.
Yeah, for sure. He probably is one of the bears.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
Hey Frank.
How you doing?
Be a bear tonight.
I'm gonna be a bear. Who's my paw? I'm gonna paw you.
Kuma. That's Japanese for bear. Kuma. There's a Japanese girl in Japanese wrestling. I forget her name, but she does like the Kuma dance, the bear dance. And she's like, like the little Asian dance, and she does like Kuma bear. Kuma.
Yeah.
It's annoying as shit, but it's very cute at the same time.
They should have, like, after she comes out and do her dance, they should have Khabib come out and, like, fucking slam her.
And in Japan, you'd get away with it because they don't believe in. They believe in equal opportunity ass whooping.
Yeah, that's a correct. That's the correct way to handle that.
If you want to see a crazy wrestling match, I'm going to give you a crazy wrestling match. Minoru Suzuki. You obviously know Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah.
First King of Pancrase. Minoru Suzuki versus Kana, who is Asuka in WWE. Bro, when I'm telling you, it is a domestic violence assault that he put on this woman. It is insane. Like, it's just 10 minutes of just fucking beating the shit out this woman. Like she forgot to make him breakfast. Like, it is bad. It is fucking bad, but it's a wonder to see. It's an absolute wonder to see, dude. So I'm gonna send that to you.
Hell yeah.
Look at some shit.
I'm trying to send you that. I'm trying to send the group that Tom Brady special before I forget. But yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up a fight night. Holloway versus Allen. It's coming up Saturday, April 15th. Regular fight time. It's in Kansas City. So, like you said, it's nice to see them going out again. They're not just all stuck in the Apex.
Indeed, dude, for sure.
All right. Well, should we talk about a little bit of news before we get out of here?
Yeah, we missed this last week, bro. And as a WWE fan, first off, I wanted to very briefly catch up on for 2 seconds on WrestleMania. If you're a MMA fan, you obviously probably have watched wrestling at some point. 2 weeks ago was the 39th edition of WrestleMania. Night one was a very fantastic event. Honestly, if you're going to go back and watch any part of WrestleMania, go back and watch night one of WrestleMania. You're going to see a fantastic tag team main event, rated 5 stars by the great Dave Meltzer. Absolute theater in terms of wrestling. Wonderful. I would highly recommend that. And the fight after, or before that, rather, you'll see the greatest women's North American match probably ever. Rhea Ripley versus fucking Charlotte Flair. 1000% would recommend it. It is by far the best women's match probably in North American history. It was phenomenal. And the rest of the card is really fucking solid. You can get to see John Cena too. This is the first match of the night if you want to see him too. There you go, WWE legend. Night two was pretty meh. You see Snoop Dogg beat The Miz. Snoop Dogg actually wrestled. He did the worst people's elbow in history. And it's comical because Shane McMahon tore his fucking quad doing a leapfrog. It is fucking comical. The main event was really good, except for the ending. The ending was dog shit. If you don't watch wrestling, you won't care. For those of us that do watch wrestling, absolute horseshit, complete failure by Vince McMahon and company to fucking put over Cody. But you can go different directions like that. For those who want to hear an all-encompassing review on the on WrestleMania, you can go over and listen to our Keki shop at Talk to Keki. I did with my podcast host Matt. We went through an all-encompassing review as well as our friend JP. And Brock Lesnar fought in the opening fight of the second fight. So for MMA fans, if you want to see Brock Lesnar get tossed around by a 7'3", 410-pound black man and still win, there you go.
There you go.
Anyway, back to the big news though, as we said. Endeavor officially bought the WWE, valued at $9.3 billion. Vince McMahon, on top of that, they kept Vince McMahon as the executive chairman of a proposed merged company between the WWE and the Endeavor's other magical sports entity, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. According to this, Vince McMahon is above Dana White on the hierarchy.
According to that, but according to like everyone's been raving over this chart, no one's been actually paying attention to what Ari Emanuel said, which was that Dana is going to be in charge of the UFC and Vince is going to be in charge of the WWE, and he will be over both of them. Khan is simply going to be sounds like just a fucking title.
He's a president. He's a president.
So he can have a title, but it's just like I was telling Angel in the chat. It makes no sense at all for Dana to be involved in the WWE or like running it, and the same with Vince in running the WWE and running.
I find it so ironic. Did you know?
Like I get that they're writing similar things, but like sit here and be like, yo, like Vince is gonna preside over all of it. Like
I find this very ironic.
I don't know. I find it hard to believe.
Vince is such a genius, because he managed to fucking keep his position, make $9.3 billion on top of that. But there's a very ironic piece. Did you know that before Zuffa bought the UFC in 2003, Shane McMahon told Vince McMahon, hey, I'm sorry, it's 2001 that they bought it. In 2001, he told Vince, hey, the UFC is for sale. Yeah, I think this is going to be major. You should buy this, Dad. And Vince is like, ha, ha, ha. Go do some other shit, son. Fuck you. I'm going to go fucking
fuck it off. And
The Rock.
That's not even the main thing. That is a very
and
small
now you
part
see
of
Vince
that
McMahon can be a potential major partner with the UFC.
Is the reason why the Ultimate Fighter was even allowed to air after WWE
after Monday Night Raw.
And honestly, if Vince had thought that the UFC was going to be big back then, it's a good thing that he didn't. Because if he did, he probably would have bought it and squished it or turned it into something else.
It would turn into like some bullshit fucking shit that you see in Russia.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been something ridiculous. But like
Rey Mysterio versus fucking Yarborough.
Yeah, like in a real real cage fight or whatever. But like it's just like with the XFL. He would just pay a bunch of wrestlers to go get fucking hurt. Fucking good lord. Okay. Let's not go down the XFL road. But talking about fucking CEOs with bad ideas. Jesus, Dana and Vince are one and the same. Never thought about that way. Like, God damn,
they're brothers. They're
Vince really has had a lot of terrible
ideas. Bro, they're Eskimo brothers. They probably fucked the same paralegals that Vince fucked.
Oh, they probably both fucked Rousey, dude. Yeah, I don't know about. It's disgusting.
Hey, Travis Brown is gonna hunt you down now, sir.
He probably gave him permission. So, but yeah, Vince and Dana. Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Yeah, like you said, Vince kind of greenlit all this stuff back in the day for the Ultimate Fighter to even come on and air after Raw. Yeah. Or SmackDown or whatever it was. It was on Spike back then. Yeah. So that, right there, it sets it all.
Dana's always admired Vince. He's always thought of him as like.
It's crazy because Vince has always treated Dana like shit.
Kind of, yeah. Basically.
Like he talked about how he went to the last WrestleMania and they like put him in like a bad spot and like nobody talked to him or nothing like that. Like
I didn't know. I didn't hear that. No, I always hear about how
the last time they invited him out to WrestleMania and he said that he felt like Vince like purposely kind of gave him the cold shoulder.
Kind of like, your boy's with me, bitch. No, I always found it interesting how Brock would always defend both of them. He's like, my relationship with Dana is completely different from my relationship with Vince.
Well,
and just from that aspect, hey,
he's doing this.
It's like,
That's because when Brock is mad at Vince, he runs to Dana. Pay me. Yeah. When Brock is done with Dana, he runs to Vince. Pay me.
Pay me. And he keeps winning. It's like, it really feels like it really feels like, who do you want to, in this situation of the lesser of two evils, do you want to go with Satan or do you want to go with Beelzebub?
Right.
Which one are you gonna go with?
Yeah, you want to go with Satan or Hades or Satan? Which one you what are you thinking here?
For real, right? One's got horns, one just is still the same fucking guy without horns.
One's the devil, one's the Lord of the Underworld. What do you like? I think that this is it is massive news. I don't think we're gonna see very much change on anything. Maybe probably way more on the WWE side of things than we will with the UFC as far as how Endeavor will change things with them. But the feel that I get from Ari Emanuel and from the way that they have historically handled the UFC, I very much feel like it will be business as usual. Vince will go on, Dana will go on, and they will operate and run the two companies separately completely. And they'll do co-promotions on certain
1,000%.
We'll mostly just be seeing WWE ads on fucking UFC Fight Pass. You'll be seeing UFC prelims and UFC Fight Nights and pay-per-view ads on
so many different things.
WWE Network.
The other caveat to this is they've got a deal with Peacock and Universal through 2025 with Peacock, right? And they may manage to merge the library. I can see them with this new conglomerate, merging the UFC Fight Pass with the WWE network that they have.
That's a mistake.
I can see them doing that. That's a mistake. And as you mentioned, it's going to open a lot of cross promotion. And of course, Vince's biggest stars are Ronda and fucking.
You already have that on ESPN, though, don't you?
What do you mean?
You already have kind of a. I mean, I don't know. You're right. I think they're probably.
No, we see the pay-per-view library and the Fight Night library to certain degrees on ESPN Plus. But it doesn't have all the other all-encompassing stuff. You can't see Cage Warriors. You can't see any of the jiu-jitsu tournaments.
That's why Fight Pass is so.
Fight Pass is still a good value for the true MMA fan.
For an MMA fan, yeah.
Yeah, to a true MMA fan. But I can see them doing something like that. As you mentioned, the cross promotion. I also find it very ironic. Do you remember Matt Riddle?
Fuck yeah.
Matt Riddle is the wrestler in the WWE.
He's a stoner.
he plays one in WWE as well.
Well, he is one in real life.
I would die to see Vince McMahon send Matt Riddle to the UFC for some cross promotion. Bro, I would love to see that. I always remember, and I always find it's always ironic now. Matt Riddle got fired from the UFC because he couldn't pass a piss test in the pre-USADA era. You got fucking Ubereem and all these fucking guys juiced to the gills, and you're gonna fire Matt Riddle because he smokes pot.
That's why Nick Diaz got so mad all those years ago when he got indefinitely suspended for fucking weed. When these guys are fucking getting all kinds of fucking, shit for fucking steroids and they're fucking jacked to the gills. They all look like alligators and horses. And it's ridiculous. Yeah.
I'm just praying to God he sends him over there.
That'd be great. He's a good wrestler. He's a good wrestler.
Praying to God. But
if I'm him, I'm staying in the WWE.
Something that would help. So Daniel Cormier has already done a
shot. But hey, real quick though, if you're Matt Riddle, you're staying in the WWE. Yeah, you're not trying to go back over to the fucking UFC.
Oh, of course, Matt Riddle makes probably like $250 at minimum on the main roster as a wrestler.
Yeah, per show, right?
No, it's per year.
Oh,
yeah, he's a middle card guy, so he's making somewhere between $250 and $500, somewhere in that range. You got to think.
Yeah, I don't know. He might not. He probably wouldn't clear that with the UFC a year. Yeah, you're right.
No, he wouldn't, especially without the sponsors and shit.
How crazy is that?
No way he would clear that. But no,
guys aren't even clearing $250 a year.
I think what would be beneficial for the WWE though, if they manage to take advantage of that, start bringing in legit UFC guys. Daniel Cormier has already done a shot with WWE. He was it's ironic. He was a special guest referee for a Matt Riddle cage match, quote unquote cage match. They have cage matches sometimes as a gimmick in WWE. So he was also referee for there.
I mean, look, they've had stuff. Brock has come over. Clearly, they've had.
No, but I'm saying that they should bring some of the current. They should bring the current, because obviously they're fans of WWE and fans of wrestling.
Do you bring Braun Strowman over? Do you bring Braun Strowman over and try to,
He's not. I mean, he's a strong guy, but he's not a legitimate fighter per se. But they have fighters that are really good. Like
was Brock, bro. Brock was not a legitimate fighter before he fought in the UFC. He wasn't.
You know what he had?
Wrestling.
Up today.
Wrestling.
Division I collegiate national championship.
Braun Strowman isn't a wrestler. These guys are coming out of wrestling colleges, no?
No, Braun Strowman was a strong man. He was one. He took part in like the Mr. Olympias and like not Mr. Olympias. I'm sorry, like that the tough man, strong man competitions where you're lifting up fucking 300-pound Atlas stones and shit. Yeah, that's what he did. Okay. But no, they have some fighters that are legitimate shoot fighters. Specifically, there's one in particular, Karrion Kross. That they have. He doesn't do jack shit in WWE, but he's a shooter. He does train in MMA and things of that nature. They have several guys that train in MMA. They have like a little like elite group. Believe it or not, in Orlando, there's a downtown. They have a fucking not a Gracie. What is it? It is. I think it is. I think it's Daniel Gracie. Daniel Gracie's gym. And they have several fighters there that train MMA, like, you know, kind of, they're like, you know, blue belts, purple belts, things of that nature. But they have some guys that are training there. So you could do that from that aspect. But I think the key value would be for the UFC to start sending guys over that really have that legitimate fan experience and provide a little bit more legitimacy to some of the storylines. The problem now, and this is unrelated to MMA, is that Vince has decided with his newfound power after he got booted from creative to reinsert himself back into creative. And it's been in certain aspects, many aspects, especially the night after WrestleMania where he was 100% in control. It was fucking dog shit. It was one of the worst shows that they've had in the 8 months since he left. And Triple H, I don't know if you knew this, you probably knew this. Triple H was the one that was in charge of creative. And now with this whole hierarchy that they have, Vince is still like, he's the end all be all of all creative. And Triple H is basically the guy that has to fucking like talk to him and be like, hey, you know, we want to do this. But the problem with Vince, and it's said by so many of these legends,
so back to the same position as before.
They basically went complete backwards, as if nothing happened, as if $19 million of buyouts from these sexual assault claims that Vince was facing never happened, basically. Although I did find it interesting. I did read today that if you read the contract that Vince got, it does have a morality clause that says if he fucks up once, they could fire him. And unlike before, the reason why he managed to put himself in this position in the first place is because he had the majority shares of the B stock. They have Class A stock, which is what I own. I own a single piece of Class A stock, which, by the way, is the only stock that I owned that actually gave me money. I bought the stock right at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020 at $36. It's now at $96. And I wish I had spent like all my fucking money on it, because then I would be fucking baller as fuck right now, believe it or not, if I had spent it on WWE. But regardless, he had the B stock. The B stock is what you only give the family members. Those are the ownership stocks, right? Him, Triple H, I think Nick Khan, Stephanie McMahon, they all have B stocks. And he had the majority of those with 81%. That because he had those controlling stocks, that's how he was able to push himself back on the board and basically hold it hostage. He fired all the guys that fired him. He elected himself to the board, fired all the guys that fired him, and elected people that he knew that were either on the board or people that were friendly with him that would ensure that he'd be able to get that control. Now with this morality clause, if he gets fired for being a piece of shit, because he's no longer a majority owner, he's gone. And so, you know, I think Vince is wise enough to not be a Dana White and slap his wife in public and get caught with it, or go fuck a random whore and fucking
not Linda.
Yeah, you know, the Trumpy. But anyway, I digress. Same thing. There's themes, rolling themes tonight. But regardless, you know, there's those different aspects of it. And going back, I just kind of like just did a whole like roundabout loop. But going back to it, I think it would benefit WWE tremendously to find legitimate stars that are fans, like your Sean O'Malley's, your Conor McGregor's. Imagine these guys who have talked about, you know, WWE or get inspired by WWE type people. Imagine them in WWE. The crossover and the potential would be astronomical for them. And I think it will.
Imagine if the UFC just sends all their guys and they just start murdering all the fucking wrestlers.
Oh, that'd be great. I would love to see Roman Reigns get stretched.
Like Dana goes, okay. Dana goes, I'm gonna pay you a fucking $1 million. You go over there, do all the whatever, the dance, do all this stuff. When you get in the fucking ring, really fight him, like really fight him. Like they go from like the choreograph to all of a sudden these fucking all the UFC guys are just like whop whop whop.
Bro,
whop,
you know who else is in WWE? Who, by the way, had a good match at WrestleMania. You know who else is in WWE?
How great would that be though? Them fucking pandemonium.
You know who else is in WWE?
It'd be the most watched WWE fight of all time.
Dude, you know who else is in WWE?
Who?
Logan Paul.
Oh, that's well.
Yeah. Send a UFC guy against Logan Paul.
Yeah. There.
Logan Paul got professional fighting experience. He fucking fought Floyd Mayweather. Landed a couple punches on the old Floyd Mayweather. Let's see what he got.
Yeah. And on that note, that's a good way to let's fucking let's get out of here. Get out of here, dude. Fucking Logan Paul. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Hey, dude, no, regardless, though, the whole gist of this entire piece that I wanted to bring up was this. Actually, I had one more point that I wanted to bring up that was unrelated to this. And we had talked about this earlier, and I thought it was pretty obvious because today has been a lot of very politically charged, you could say, comments from myself, mostly regarding the state of UFC and things of that nature. You had brought up a point. I don't know where you brought it up from earlier today in regards to the white champions. Somebody made a big stink. There's 3 Mexican champions. There's 3 black champions. Like, oh, this is crazy.
No one made a stink. It was a meme. Let's be fair.
It was a meme. And it was a funny meme. But when you really look at it, if you really look at the rosters, you have your 3 Mexican champions. You have your 3 black champions. And then who do you have? You have an Australian. I mean, he's white, so I guess so. And then you have a Russian white, directly from Russia, Makachev. And you have someone from China, Wei Li Zhang. Zhang Li, however you want to pronounce it, in any direction. Regardless, I found it very very obvious, and I was like, wow, that makes sense. Is that you talked about the white guy has passed, and I wanted to ask you this on the air just to get your opinion. Out of all the divisions, and it's hard for you to maybe think of that considering the amount of divisions, I can't see a white person being other than Colby being a champion really anytime soon. I mean, maybe Stipe and Colby are the only 2 people I could see out of this list. Everybody else, in terms of white America itself, doesn't really exist because there's no white American champions. A lot of the contenders are either African or from other countries in Europe or Asia. As you mentioned, I thought it was very poignant to bring up the decline of that ethnic background in this side. And I guess Poirier's white. I just thought about that. Chandler and Poirier. That's fair too.
Yeah.
So there's a couple guys, but I don't know. I just thought that was very
I'm just gonna let you keep digging. That's cool. I'm just gonna let you keep burying yourself.
I do this so much in my life. Dig and dig and dig and dig and dig some more. Did I find treasure? Nope. I found water. I'm gonna keep digging until I found water.
I'm a goddamn booger.
Dig and dig. That's what. Hey, it's the story of my fucking life, bro.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking in the group chat. It was a fucking joke mostly. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. If you want to think about it, the days of the white champions are maybe over in the UFC. But if you actually go back and look at the UFC from its early days, it's never been dominated by one place or anywhere. It's always been international, really. Yeah. International has always dominated the UFC a lot. It has. Brazil did for a long time, dominated the UFC. Russia did early. Fucking, you know what I mean? Like a lot of different places.
But I just find it
what has happened more recently is that the UFC is getting into places like Africa and China.
Yeah. And that's why I said they're leaning on that base and it's interesting the way it's funny because we talk shit about the base of the UFC, right? It's just predominantly 18 to 34 white male. That really is the American base when you really think about it, right? For the most part. But yet it's so interesting from that piece that, as you said, that we continue to tap into diversity. You continue to go to these different countries with all these different diversities. And it's so interesting how you had these guys. The whole reason why they built that fan base in the first place is because you had your Chuck Liddells, your Randy Couture's, your BJ Penns, your Jen Pulvers, these type of fucking early champions that you could think of, right? That are just, your Ken Shamrocks, Dan Severns, Frank Shamrocks. You can go down the list of all these like early champions. As you mentioned, you had Russia, you had Brazil, but the key biggest figures were all white males. And so you built this this demographic, and that's how you built your base. And now you see the base diversify, and you see that there are many different types of ethnicities, races, backgrounds, things of that nature coming in, and I find that very fascinating for something that you don't really think about too often. You just kind of like let it go over your head. And in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter per se. You shouldn't make it about anything regarding race because it truly doesn't matter. But I just wanted to kind of put an idea in the viewer's head. If again, we always plug our MMA from Mark's page. We plug our Stink for Like a Butterfly page. If I would love to hear an opinion backwards from our audience to see what their thoughts are on it. Maybe I'm reaching, like you said, I'm continuing to dig, but
I mean, I can't believe this. This is incredible. It's incredible. I'm watching you melt. It's incredible right now. I mean,
I'm not that bad now. I'm not that bad. Jesus Christ, buddy. Fuck.
You're not that bad, but I'm just watching. You're like some of the fans. We can get some of the fans to comment back, but back me up a little bit.
I'm trying to create fucking dialogue with our people, bro.
Yeah, man. Nobody's watching tonight. I don't know. We haven't had many comments. We had one laugh, I think, earlier.
Yeah. Hey, friend.
Yeah, I care. But yes, yeah. Write us in, fucking MMA for Marks at gmail.com.
Hey, I gave a perfect segue to get the fuck out of here.
1-800 MMA for Marks. Give us a call. Fucking tell us.
We should set up a hotline. Oh my God. If we set up a live hotline. Oh, good God.
Man. Let's get out of here. Thanks, guys. Another one, dude. Another good one. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming in. We'll be back next week to talk about the fight night after the fact. Anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, wherever. MMA for Marks. Give us a goog, and you'll find us. Like and subscribe, please, and
Twitch and YouTube as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep, of course. And so we'll wrap up. You can follow Andy at MMA for Marks, MMA number 4 Marks. You can follow me on Twitter at SHOSTOPPA24, Showstopper24. You can follow my podcast Instagram at podcast.senpai. Shout out to W2M Network. Thank you so much for hosting us. Thank you, Sean, for editing this. Much appreciated. You can catch W2M Network slate of various channels throughout the week. Again, on wherever you get your local podcasts, or on Twitch or on YouTube, you can catch the live replays where you can see Andy and I's wonderful faces on there. As we smile. And shout out to my boy Matt with the Talk to Keki podcast. I am skipping a week this week because I am behind as fuck on anime.
Unbelievable.
At the beginning of the season, so we will be caught up next week from that standpoint. So look out for us next Thursday and or Friday, depending. And I think that's it, Governor.
Hell yeah. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Let's bone out.
Sayonara, Koyaro.
If there's one thing I know for sure, it's that I know nothing.